hours, knowing what Maya had been through, introduced her to poetry. She told her about Charles Dickens. She told her about William Shakespeare. And every day she would get Maya, and Maya would come to her house, and she would feed her cookies, and she would give her tea. And she would continue to tell her about all the writers that she had experienced. And so one day, what she did with Maya, she gave her a book of poems. And she said, now I want you to go home and I want you to read the poems. And I want you to be able to come back and share with me on just one of the poems. And so Maya goes home and she gets under Grandma's bed and she starts reading the poem. And she said it was like music coming off of her lips. So from there, she began to speak again. And not only that, as she was with this lady, Miss Bertha, and I know some of us have probably known a Miss Bertha, someone that's just come into our lives and coached us and encouraged us and taught her. So this is what Miss Bertha did. And not only that, she said, Maya, what I want you to do, I want you to go to the library and I want you to read books from A to Z. So Maya goes to the library. But you didn't know these things about Maya Angelou, did you? We always see her standing. We often wonder how she's so articulate and what she says. But Miss Bertha sent her and told her to go to the library and told her, now you read every book in the library from A to Z. And that's what Maya did. Now the other thing about Maya, Maya had low self-esteem. She never thought that she was beautiful. She felt that she was large. Her hands were big. But the one thing Maya said, when she would look in those books, she could be anybody she wanted to be. She could be white. She could be the queen. She could go places. But she could be anyone she wanted to be. Well, Maya, too, went into her teenage lives. She went into her teenage life, and she still went there not feeling good about herself. And in high school, she became uncertain about who she was. At one time, she even thought maybe she was a lesbian. She wasn't sure because of everything that happened in her life. And so what she did one day, she went and found a young man. And she initiated a relationship with him. It wasn't a long relationship, but she initiated a relationship with him. And she became pregnant, and she had a son. And so she kept the son to herself. She never did get a chance to go to college because she felt she had initiated that. She had put herself in that position. She wasn't going to leave her child at home with her grandmother like she felt her mama did with her, because she felt she was in and out of her mama's life. And so she took on many jobs, as so many other mothers do and had to do. She took on jobs as waitresses. She took on a job as a dancer. She took on a job as a prostitute. She took on many jobs and did what she had to do for her and her child. And I think, and I'm going to stop there because we could go on and on and on about Maya Angelou. And even today, she's won many, many, many other awards. She's hung with the best. We know she's hung with people. She was a mentor for Oprah. She's hung with so many people. But I think one of the most important things that she would want us to know, although we see the grandeur of it, but the one thing that I think she would want us to know, and I call them Proverbs according to Maya. These are some quotes that she left. And if you would just allow me just to read them just a little bit, because as I was reading and sharing with Maya, these are some of the things that stayed with me. And one of them, she says, I've learned that people will forget what you say. People will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you've made them feel. Have we made someone feel good today?
That's right.
You know, you can give and you can give, but what have you said to encourage anyone to make them feel good? Another one of the Proverbs I read, according to Maya, she says, I can be changed by what happens to me. And she went through some horrific things, and a lot of them I did not have time to even share with you on. But she says, I can be changed by what happens to me. Just as we all can be changed to what happens to us. Sometimes we're not in control of things that happens to us. But she says, I do not have to be reduced to them. Another one of her quotes or proverbs, according to Maya, I like to talk about, she says about success. She says, success is liking yourself. It's liking what you do, and it's liking what you become. Success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and then doing well at it. Another one she says here, she says, and I think this one was so poignant too, she says, those that open doors have to be stronger than those that walk through them. You know, we've had a lot of people, a lot of women that's opened doors that we've been able to walk through. Do you feel that you have opened a door that others have walked through? We've got a lot of great women like that. And the one thing that I thought about out of all of this that I was reading about Maya, because it seemed like so much of this that I was reading about her, it resonated on me about some of the things that I experienced growing up. Even during the time her being a young mother, feeling like she wanted to go off to school, but she couldn't because she did not want to leave a child. And I remember thinking the same thing about myself at an early age of 17 or 18-year-old when I became a single mom. And it wasn't so much because of being promiscuous, but it was because of lack of knowledge. And I remember during that time that I, like Maya, I felt so bad and was so embarrassed about my life that I stayed locked up for a year. I could not go to school for a year because back in those days you did not go to school like that. So I remember staying in my house being locked up because I was so embarrassed. But then my senior year I did go back to school. I remember wanting to go off to college. So any of you young ladies in here, please, please, please do and listen and guard yourself so you'll be able to enjoy those times. But I couldn't go off to college because, like Maya, I felt, as some of the older people will tell you, I made the bed. So I had to lie in it. But I'm thankful to my Lord today that He too ordered my footsteps like He orders a lot of our footsteps. And as I close here today, I want to say this about me and all that I've been to. You see, I've learned to stop trying to be what others want to see in me and what others want me to be. But what I've learned to do is I've learned to grow and become the woman that God has created me to be and that purpose in which He has placed me in. And so when we talk about a metamorphosis, like in the life of Maya, a metamorphosis, you know, some of you don't know about a metamorphosis, and perhaps you do. But you see, when you talk about a metamorphosis here, we know that as it relates to a butterfly, it's kind of like the egg on a butterfly, all right? We all have been there. We all are going through a metamorphosis in life. And so there's the egg there. And then after a while,
in that metamorphosis stage, we all too, being a work in progress, we all too become like that caterpillar that we see. You know, we see the caterpillar and he's crawling around all the grime and all the grim, but we don't see his fullness or the beautifulness that's yet to come. I don't know about you, but we all have been through some tough times. The Bible tells us we were what? Born in sin. We were what? Shaped in iniquity, right? And we all have been like that worm, crawled around, been through our trials, been through our tribulations, until we finally got to that part. If we're saved and women of God, we finally got to that part of being that pupper, as they call it, the little cocoon that hangs up. I don't know about you all, but right now, I feel like I'm going through that stage of the cocoon. You see, I've been saved, and I'm trying, like so many of us,